For those who don't know, Darren Aronofsky has directed 8 feature films which all feature, in one way or another, the theme of obsession. These films all feature a character obsessing over something which eventually leads to their downfall. Aronofsky is one of my favorite directors because he approaches these characters in a way where they're clearly humans with flaws, but they also feel relatable and you can feel for their hardships. With that being said, I'm going to look at a few of Aronofsky's films and highlight how he uses the theme of obsession leading to self-destruction to tell stories. Spoilers ahead for some of Aronofsky's films. Requiem for a Dream is one of Aronofsky's most popular films, and to me it tackles the idea of obsession most directly. He uses drug addiction as a metaphor for the characters being obsessed with something, in this case, each of the 4 main characters' dreams. Each of the 4 main characters has an ambitious goal or dream they want to achieve, and use drugs as a means to reach that dream. The way Aronofsky handles these plotlines allows the eventual drug addiction to mirror each character's self-destructive obsession with their goals. Although it begins harmless, each character's dreams and drug usage become more and more extreme until it completely engulfs their lives. This is especially clear with Sarah Goldfarb, who takes weight loss drugs so that she can appear more thin for a television appearance. Eventually, this dream of appearing on television takes over her reality and she hallucinates that she's on TV despite actually being in the hospital. This ending is, in my opinion, Aronofsky's darkest, with each of the main characters being completely engulfed by their addiction and obsession, without any sort of final catharsis.
Fibonacci is an Italian mathematician in the 13th century. If you divide 144 into 233, the result approaches theta.
Theta?
Theta. Greek symbol for golden ratio, golden spiral.
Pi similarly focuses on a character's obsession, but it's not as dark as Requiem. This film follows a guy named Max who's obsessed with numbers, and I think Max says it best himself.
1245. Restate my assumptions. 1. Mathematics is the language of nature. 2. Everything around us can be represented and understood through numbers. 3. If you graph the numbers of any system, patterns emerge. Therefore, there are patterns everywhere in nature.
The film is split between Max working on making stock predictions with his computer and meeting people around New York who want to use Max's knowledge of numbers for their own gain. Most of the film is a back and forth of Max obtaining esoteric knowledge with his computer, but also being troubled in some way by the knowledge he gains, which I think is a really interesting way to look at an obsession. This tension eventually reaches a fever pitch when Max drills a hole in his head as if to perform a lobotomy on himself. After he does this, he seems to no longer have any knowledge of number theory, finding catharsis from his obsession by simply removing any knowledge of it, rather than confronting it. It's a really interesting ending that caught me off guard when I first watched the film, but it also feels incredibly human, this idea that knowledge can be a double-edged sword.
Do you ever get the feeling that people are incapable of not caring?
The Whale is my favorite Aronofsky movie, but it approaches obsession a bit differently. The primary obsession of the film, Charlie's desire to reconnect with his daughter, isn't immediately obvious until the end of the film. There are hints that he's prioritizing his daughter over himself to a negative degree, such as saving all his money for her rather than going to the hospital, but it isn't really made clear until the end of the film. This obsession is also different in nature compared to the other obsessions in Aronofsky films. His desire to reconnect with his daughter isn't a negative thing, and what he does to facilitate this connection isn't necessarily a problem, but rather how it becomes one of the few things that gives his life meaning. For me, this was made clear at the end of the film, where he dies as his daughter reads an essay that she wrote to him.
And I feel bad for Ahab as well, because he thinks that his life will be better if he can just kill this whale, but in reality, it won't help him at all. I was very saddened by this book, and I felt many emotions for the characters. And I felt saddest of all when I read the boring chapters that were only descriptions of whales, because I knew that the author was just trying to save us from his own sad story, just for a little while.
This essay serves as a metaphor for Charlie's relationship with his daughter, and her reading the essay serves to finally create a connection between her and Charlie. With this connection made, Charlie's obsession is met and his life as a character in an Aronofsky film is ended. These are just some of Aronofsky's films that stood out the most to me, but I think all of his films are good, so let me know your favorite down in the comments.